hold it up. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If everybody would please take their seat, we'd like to get started. Is that loud enough? Yeah. How are you? Just stay there. Yeah. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jill Albin. I'm the Executive Director for the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce, and we welcome all of you here today. This is going to be a very good experience, and we have a wonderful turnout, and we appreciate that. Before we get started, however, I would like everyone to please stand so that we may recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Yvonne Markle, who is the chairman of our board of directors. So, Yvonne.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jill. We are so pleased with the lineup of speakers that we have with us here today. It is a great representation of our chamber's geographic region, which includes 2 counties, 4 townships, and the city of Richmond. Thus, it is our Richmond Area Chamber. Let me begin today by introducing the elected officials that we have with us here today. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I'm done, and please hold your applause until the end, please. From the 25th District, Senator State Pavlov. From the 32nd District, State Representative Andrea LaFontaine. From the 33rd District, State Representative Ken Goike. St. Clair County Commissioner Dave Rushing. Macomb County Commissioner Kathy Vosberg. Macomb County Commissioner Doug Brown. Ray Township Treasurer Doug Steer. Richmond Township Trustee Chris DeVos. City of Richmond Councilman Mike Bostrovich. Ray Township Supervisor Charlie Bohm. Lennox Township Treasurer Karen Attenbacher. Richmond Community Schools Board President Margaret Telto. Casco Township Clerk Patricia Allegreen. Richmond Community Schools Vice President Tracy Bartell. Lennox Township Deputy Supervisor Jeanette Vantamiglia. Mayor Daniel Weaver from the City of Memphis. Casco Township Trustee Joe Stevens. City of Richmond Councilwoman Jamie Green. Casco Township Trustee Daniel Galston. Richmond Township Clerk Kathy LaFontaine. Richmond City Manager John Moore. Radler Township Treasurer Dawn Sawicki-Franz. City of Richmond Councilman Jeff Yarrick. Ray Township Clerk Paula Artman. City of Richmond Police Chief Dave Tusky. EMS Director Jeff White. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and we applaud you for being here, and thank you very much for attending. Also, I would like to thank, from the Voice newspaper, Courtney Flynn, Jason Robbins from the cable TV, and John Pittick for Radio First for being here today.
At this time, I would like to introduce to you our speakers, and again, as I call your name, if you would please remain standing, and then we will hold the applause till the end. From the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner David Rushing. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle. City of Richmond Manager is John Moore. Lennox Township Supervisor Ron Trombley. Richmond Township Supervisor Cindy Greenier. Casco Township Supervisor Bill Ruminap. Columbus Township Supervisor, Bruce Christie. And as our event moderator again this year, we're very happy to have the 42nd District Court Judge, Dennis Ledoux. Thank you. Oh, we'll get you. Okay. An event like this doesn't happen without the generosity of our sponsors. And we have two major event sponsors this year, and I would like to give them recognition. First, we have McLaren McComb and Kelly Lavati and Sue Durst. I'm going to introduce you folks. And our second major event sponsor this year is First State Bank. And we have Mr. Eugene Lovell and Mr. Larry Cousdale here. So, and our table sponsors, I'd like to give them recognition also because they're very much appreciated. We have Laser Market with John and Yvonne Markle. Senior Helpers with Rand and Brian Hewitt. Macomb County Farm Bureau with Ken DeCook and Brandon Falker. Waste Management, David Rogers and Kathleen Klein. The Republican Committee of Northern Macomb County, Rob Mantilla and Jamie Green. Nickel and Saff Incorporated Insurance, Stephen Saff Jr. and Bill Rumenap. The Richmond Lions Club, Susan Eisenhart and Paul Oxby. Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick with Roy Rose and Lyle Wynn. Smart Transportation, Fred Barbrett and Jeff White. Yes Media, Joan King. Macomb County Planning and Economic Development, Mr. Steve Casson and Vicki Rad. And North Star Bank, Roy Kletcha and Danielle Draub. So thank you very much. At this time, I would like to offer an opportunity for our two major event sponsors to say a few words. So I'd like to introduce Sue Durst from McLaren to tell us what's happening.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting to be here for the second year. As a resident of Richmond, I think we have the best of both worlds. We have kind of the laid-back community life that we live here, and yet I think you're going to hear this morning about the energy and the vitality that's here in Macomb County, the northern end of Macomb County, so it's exciting. I have a couple people that I'd like to introduce, but McLaren, I have to tell you, McLaren Macomb is very, very pleased to be part of this community. And Ron Trombley, we're in Lennox Township on 31 Mile Road in Gratiot. And in addition to the medical services that we have out there, the laboratory, the radiology department, CAT scan, mammograms, PT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech, we have some physician services that have started up, and we currently have some orthopedic physicians who are coming out to Richmond several times a month. They specialize. We have a sports medicine doc, we have a back specialist, and we also have a joint replacement specialist. In addition to that, our newest addition is cardiology, coming out to Richmond once a week, and I have one of our super docs with us today, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Timothy Logan, a cardiologist par excellence. Thank you. And Dr. Logan and one of his partners, Dr. Beth Bowling, will be out every week here in Richmond, so we're very, very excited. Additionally, as a longtime Richmond resident, this gives me great pleasure to kind of engage or connect the community with people who are from your community and yet work at McLaren. So with that, I'm going to embarrass maybe two of them and say their maiden names because they're probably well known to you or the families are. Next to Dr. Logan is Sue Schaefer, who was Susan Schmidt. And for any of you who go back to the Schmidt and Schwark IGA in town, her family is well known here. Sue is our trauma services coordinator or manager. does a lot of great work with trauma. We are a level 2 trauma center, and Sue just played such an instrumental part in it, and she also is a Richmond resident. Sitting next to her is Karen Kozel, who is Karen LaFour Kozel, and Karen is our emergency department manager. And next to her is Holly Schenke, and Holly is our clinical manager of the cardiac specialty unit, and Holly and her husband are renovating a huge, beautiful home here in Richmond. So I thought it was important that we connect the McLaren family with our family out here. And that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And now Mr. Eugene Lovell from First State Bank.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak this morning. As elected officials, most of you understand how important it is that our communities prosper. Indeed, it's your responsibility to help make that happen. As a community banker, I share that responsibility. We at First State Bank recognize that if we're going to thrive, the communities where we live and work, the communities we call our home, must thrive as well. This is so important to all of us. I want you to know we're going to be here working with you to help ensure our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities prosper. Nearly 100 years ago, First State Bank opened its doors for business in Macomb County. We were here during the First World War. We were here during the Second World War. We survived the Great Depression. More recently, we survived the so-called Great Recession. By the way, we did that without accepting one penny of federal assistance under the TARP program. Thank you. And we never stopped lending in Macomb County. In good times and in bad, we're going to be here to work with people, to help them build their homes, build their businesses, to help them build better lives in our townships, our communities, our cities, our neighborhoods. When you bank at First State Bank, your funds aren't promptly transferred to Dallas, Texas, Chicago, New York, Columbus, Ohio. By and large, your funds are invested here in your communities, in your townships, in your neighborhoods. We want to and we will work with you to help build your homes, to help build your businesses. From our board of directors, our shareholders, our employees, we all call this home. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. Please, if there's anything that we can do to help you in doing the work that you need to do, don't hesitate to give us a call. We've got some wonderful people. You will know them. They're probably your neighbor, or you probably see them at events such as these throughout the year. Thank you again for letting me speak with you.
Thank you, Sue and Eugene, and thank you to both McLaren, Macomb, and First State Bank. And before I turn the microphone over to the judge here, would all the speakers please come on up and take your place? If you'd like to bring your water or coffee. Right down here, sir.
All the little boxes.
Well, all right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to be the moderator for this morning. I'm Judge Dennis LeDuc, and I want to remind all our special speakers that being here in the city of Richmond, you are you're right here this morning in my jurisdiction. And we all know the political instruction we all hear that you speak softly but carry a big stick. Now, I neither speak softly nor do I carry a big stick. I just carry a big gavel. And of course, since this is my jurisdiction, and we're going to all limit ourselves to about 10 minutes this morning, correct everyone? About 8 to 10 minutes. I do have contempt powers, and I've got Chief Dave Teskey right there to help me enforce them. So, all right. With that note, then, we're going to move right along here. And as was mentioned, this is such a unique chamber because of the broad jurisdiction it takes in, both St. Clair County, Macomb County, and of course so much of the surrounding, the city of Richmond, of course, and the surrounding townships. So we're going to move to St. Clair County first this morning. And on behalf of St. Clair County, I want to introduce to you Commissioner Dave Rushing. Dave, it's all yours.
Well, good morning. Talked to Jeff Bohm yesterday. I was at this previous years. Last year, I went to Myrtle Beach, so I wasn't able to make it last year. And you evidently scheduled it the week after my Myrtle Beach trip, so I'm just back from that. But I appreciate being here again. We've got a lot of great people here. I'm going to have some of my minutes. Mine's going to be fairly short, I believe. I'm going to touch on 3 items. One is the convention center. I'm sure you've heard about our convention center in St. Clair County. We took over well, we didn't, but a private investor took over the Thomas Edison Inn. Is now a DoubleTree, and we're going to be partnering with them, and we just approved all the contracts to start breaking ground for the convention center. So probably within a year, probably next spring, the convention center will be opening up, and that'll be county-owned, and it'll be a joint partnership. Part of the contracts, which is very important in St. Clair County, and I imagine that's also in Macomb, can't speak for them, but what we require is 75% of the money is spent locally with the jobs and also all the materials and services. So the convention center is going forward. They've done an excellent job refurbishing the Thomas Edison Inn. The new Freighters restaurant, if you get a chance to go there, they've been doing a very good job there too. So there's the convention center. On the landfill, we have a bioreactor there that we partnered with Detroit Edison. We've got about 14 years left on the contract. It is generating currently about $800,000 a year in revenue to the county, where we take the methane gas. And if you look at our landfill, think of it as a pie. It's not a round landfill, but each cell, we take a cell per year. And we've extended the lifespan of the current landfill by about 80 years. So our landfill is actually shrinking every year, then we move to a different cell, and we're going to have more construction in the next 2 years of building 2 more cells. And that's a big plus for St. Clair County. So it could have been a 20-year lifespan, so we've expanded that by 80 years. In addition, we just bought the Sturdivant farm right next door to it. It's 72 acres, and then that's going to be incorporated in landfill, so it's potentially we could have another 150 years for our landfill in St. Clair County. So that's a big plus. It's a very big asset that we're taking on, that we were fortunate enough to get the property that abutted to the landfill that we have. The last thing I want to talk about is the Park and Rec. If you're not aware, if you've been to our county fair, we have an amazing county fair out at the Goodles Park. What we partnered with the Park and Rec millage funds is all 3 roads that go into the access and exit of there are going to be refurbished this year. They're all going to be repaved, and that's going to be a much more. If you've been out there, some of those roads you get bumped up out there. And Jeff Bohm has done an amazing job as our chair. We have a very good 7-member board. I hope we all get back in. We have differences, as every board, but we work very well together. So I'm very fortunate to be a county commissioner at St. Clair County, and I've really enjoyed doing it. But on the roads there, if you get a chance to get out to the Goodles Park, it's amazing. And Jeff Bohm is working on getting us a big concert, and hopefully we can do that every year out there. If you've read the papers, this year is not going to happen because they've got a joint venture. I believe it's in Macomb County. So, but potentially next year, we're going to have a fairly large, hopefully anyways, music festival out there, and that'll generate a lot of monies for the county and businesses, get them into the county. So there's my short spiel. So kept it under the 10 minutes. So imagine Mark will get the extra if you need it.
Good job, Dave. Very good. All right. We're now officially ahead of schedule. All right. We're next going to have a dear friend of mine and someone I've known many, many years, worked with many, many years, our own county executive, Mark Hackle. But before I get him up here, I got a couple of comments I want to make, Mark. I got in here a little bit late. I mean, I was pushing 7:30, very tight. And I looked around and I said, where's Mark? And I find out he's already holding a press conference out in the parking lot before even getting in here with the press and the microphone. So, all right, Mark. Now, Mark, since you oversee the court's budget, I take back all the comments that I made about the big gavel and the 8 to 10 minutes. So, all right, there you go. Podium's all yours, Executive Mark Hackle.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Dennis. I wasn't worried about that kind of, I call it a veiled threat anyways. I mean, Dave Teskey, the chief out here, I don't think I've ever seen him write a traffic ticket most of the time. When he pulls people over, he invites them to go get a coffee. He's just one of those nice guys. And as far as Dennis, boy, I tell you, he just keep giving you a break after break after break. He's a very good judge. But the truth be told, both these gentlemen I've known for a long time, and they are just incredible public relations, public service officers. So I just want to make sure I make that point, or at least throw that out there. You guys got some good people out here when it comes to public safety, kind of protecting your interest. Macomb County, boy, I tell you, we're in great shape. Why do I say that? Do we have our challenges? Absolutely. I'm one of those people that's supposed to be responsible to kind of engage the various communities that make up Macomb County, and there are 27. I mean, we are one of those counties that really has gotten out from underneath, what people thought of us, and are really putting out an image of what the county really has to offer. I'm also very interested in trying to figure out how do we engage as regional partners. Great to see Dave here, because the BOEM, there really is just one elected BOEM here in Macomb County and in the region, and obviously it's Charlie BOEM. Jeff is secondary to that. He's a good partner to have as a regional partner. We have had a lot of good working relationships with St. Clair County, but that too, I think, doesn't get talked about a lot in the media, because there's more of a concern as to what's happening in southeast Michigan with the issues that are facing the city of Detroit. Macomb County, you look at our Board of Commissioners and the working relationship with the countywide elected officials, our finances are better than they've ever been, and I tell you, the outlook is absolutely incredible. The work of Don Brown and Kathy Bossberg, the two commissioners that are here, working to make sure that, we're being very conservative on how we're dealing with our finances in the county, yet recognizing there's some issues that we need to address and deal with. Whether it's dealing with road issues, dealing with the issue of the county jail, and try to figure out how do we deal with the problems that jail has been facing for years. There's a cost going to be associated with that, as well as the downtown campus that we've got, and we're trying to figure out how do we fix some of the problems that we're seeing. We were very fortunate. Just recently, we opened up what was called a Communications Technology Center. That's Contact. That was an integrated communications center that we pulled together, which you don't see anywhere else in North America, by the way. And those of you that have not had an opportunity to visit this facility, I suggest maybe you have an opportunity to meet with our emergency manager, Vicki Wilberg, and find an opportunity to do that as a group, to see what we have here in Macomb County. Because as I said, and I'm going to repeat myself, nowhere in North America do you have, when it talks about communications technology for public safety, anywhere in the entire country, what we have here in Macomb County. And it's an integration of our roads department, emergency management, our IT services, as well as public safety for police and fire. This is something I've talked about as a kid growing up in the ranks of the department as a dispatcher. Boy, I tell you, everybody kept talking about consolidation. We made that happen here in Macomb County and have taken public safety to a whole new level, and we're getting attention from all over the United States with this facility. I say that to set you up for this. I truly believe there's an answer for our problems dealing with public safety. The bigger issues, and many of you probably have been affected by this to some extent. I know the judge deals with this on a regular basis in his courtroom, and Dave sees it in and around the neighborhoods. But many of you have been touched by these issues, whether it's mental health issues of either family members or a friend, substance abuse issues with kids that we think are usually from the inner city, affecting what's happening out, even in the suburbs and out in the country. These problems are issues that we come in contact with these individuals, and unfortunately sometimes they clog up the system. So what we're offering up in Macomb County is a different way of dealing with people that commit crimes. For whatever purpose or whatever reason they're committing crimes, we need to be smart in how we address and how we assess that. And to do that, we're not moving forward with just building a jail, because I'm a believer, build and they will come. If you build a jail, I don't care how many beds you put in that facility, we will fill those beds within a year's period of time, no matter how many. We need to look at the front end of people that are arrested within the county, no matter where they're arrested, and assess the true problem or issue that's facing that particular individual. Is it mental health? Is it substance abuse? Is it homeless issue? What are the issues that are confronting that person? If from the moment they touch that door in one facility, one location in Macomb County, no matter who brings them in, state trooper, Richmond cop, Romeo police officer, East Point, the city of Warren, they bring that person to that location with the paperwork, there's going to be an assessment done on the front end so that we reduce and minimize the costs associated with the system having to deal with that person while it's taking place, and then try to figure out in the back end who truly needs to be in prison and who truly needs to be in some type of treatment or alternative programming. It reduces the cost in the long run, reduces cost of how we're dealing with the system, as well as bed spaces, which are the true costs. So in Macomb County, we're working on that. I could sit here and talk for the next hour and a half about the things that are going on in Macomb. I've got to give a lot of credit to our Planning and Economic Development Department here in Macomb County. I'm going to ask them to stand. Steve Casson and his crew, JP, Vicky, we've got Jeff, we've got Nick, and as well as I think many of you know, Jerry Santoro. These are the individuals that we have given the opportunity here in Macomb County to work with the 27 municipalities. I'm not going to make you guys continue to stand while I continue to talk. You can sit down. But these individuals are the ones that when I first took office as county executive, boy, I tell you, I didn't know about economic development planning, but I certainly knew we had 27 municipalities that really had distinct natures, and there was something unique about each and every one of them that had their own elected officials and own ideas. And so what they were able to tell me is, give us the free rein to work with these communities, and we will try to figure out how do we establish opportunities for them to grow, not just with economic development, but community development as well. And our Parks and Recreation Plan and the work that's being done by our Water Resource Advisory Council is absolutely incredible, because I truly believe there's an interconnection for people why they make Macomb their home, no matter which community they choose. They make Macomb their home because there's job opportunities, good quality of education, there's safe neighborhoods, affordable housing, but more importantly, there's something for people to do, and they enjoy their neighborhoods, the uniqueness of them. And that's what our Planning and Economic Development Department is offering up to the various communities throughout this county. And I've given them that full reign, but explain to them if there's anything that's in the way, let me know. And I'll try to figure out how do we get past that, or how do we help find funding to make those connections. So with that, I think I'd end, and I may have gone 2 minutes over, but Dave gave me 2 minutes of his only 8-minute speech, and I think the judge is going to provide me that leniency. So thank you very much.
Actually, Mark, you were right on. Congratulations. All right. And let me just second one of the things that Executive Hackle mentioned, because the 42nd District Court has been the beneficiary of this. We have those programs and are emphasizing those programs with the young people in the north end of Macomb County, particularly first-time young 17 through 25-year-old drug and alcohol offenders, where we're emphasizing treatment over incarceration. We can't incarcerate our way out of this, and we're emphasizing counseling, treatment, drug and alcohol testing randomly, and we appreciate the support that we're getting so much from the county executive in the county of Macomb. All right, with that editorial comment, we're going to move right on, and I want to move to our local government, and I want to introduce our Richmond City Manager, John Moore. John, all yours.
Good morning. Thank you to the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. Mayor Ricks sends his regrets that he wasn't able to make it. And it was nice to see this morning, as I said hello to many of you, just how many of the business leaders here make Richmond their home. For those of you that don't know me, I've been with the city for 17 years, the last 9 as manager. Currently, at this time of year, one of the major issues facing our city is the budget. With a July 1st fiscal year, we're just getting into the middle of the budget season, have budget workshops with our council members coming up. As with many of our local governments here, our revenues have been declining over recent years, and so our council and administration have had to find creative ways to deal with those issues. We've done it through personnel. We've restructured, for instance, our recreation director and library position have combined. We've changed the hours of operation of our library and city hall to retain staffing and the services that our residents expect. We've also are starting to look at different ways to provide services such as our recreation programming. This may include an expanded role for the regional youth complex, the Odd, just down the street here. And we're also talking with our neighboring communities about services such as cable TV, our cemetery, law enforcement. So we're just being creative to kind of deal with the budget challenges and expand our partnerships with those around us. It is going to be a tough year this year for Richmond from a personnel standpoint. We're going to be losing our public service director, Paul Fayadellum, will be retiring in July after 27 years with the city. Our city treasurer, Marilyn Olson, will be retiring later this fall after 20 years with the city. And certainly the loss of these two people will be kind of a huge loss in an institutional memory for Richmond. But we also view it as a opportunity to kind of take a look at those two positions and the workload in our city and see if there's a better, more efficient way to get the work done. Certainly there's a lot of positives going on in Richmond. Our residential property values increased over 6% this year. We had 6 new home permits last year, and our building department feels we'll do a lot more than that this year. Our general building permits are up again. And recently, our planning commission approved a townhouse development for Dow and Howard Streets. And they've been doing a lot more work this year doing site plans for new businesses coming to town and those businesses that are here looking to renovate or expand their operations. Our City of Richmond TIFA and our Economic Development Corporation through their facade programs have given out grants of over $70,000 to our local business community that is putting that investment back into their buildings and their properties. That's spurred $170,000 worth of private investment into Richmond. Along with all of these commercial activities that are going on, we also are kind of focused on our quality of life and maintaining that for our residents. A key component of that is the Macomb Orchard Trail. We continue to capitalize on that. We partner with the county in putting on the Romeo to Richmond half marathon. That brings in over 500 runners and probably 1,000 spectators and family members that come out to cheer on the runners in the half marathon. Other organizations in town are starting to see the Macomb Orchard Trail as an asset to capitalize on. Our Richmond Lions Club will be hosting their 3rd annual bike-a-thon for Habitat for Humanity later in May. Another just reminder, tomorrow morning, if you're here with, if you have grandchildren or children, our Easter egg hunts starts at 10:30 sharp in the park. Don't be late. At 10:34, all the eggs will be gone. A couple of the ongoing projects that we have been working on for the last few years. Our city website has been completely renovated. We went through about a 6-month process with a company called Civic Plus. It's much more interactive, a much more professional image for our city, helps us with marketing. It also helps us to communicate with our residents. They can sign up for notifications for events, programs, job postings, and emergency alerts. They can get those through either their email or their cell phones. This past winter, Semco lost pressure on a gas main on South Forest, and we used that website to push out notices on the repairs, how those were going, and also where there were warming stations. So it just kept that link of communication with the residents open. It also allows residents to more effectively communicate with us. There's a button right on the main page, which is cityofrichmond.net, and it says Richmond Listens. And by hitting that button, it helps you direct your question right to the department that needs to deal with it. Also, this year, we continue to work on our City Hall project. We're looking at consolidating our City Hall with our police post. The conceptual plans are done, and we're working with our city engineers to complete the construction documents. And we hope that later this summer, we'll be taking our City Hall, moving it over to Division Road. Our police will move back into the area of the building that was vacated by the state police. And then the big administration area that the state had will become our new council chambers. That'll be kind of a nice municipal complex for the community. And we always value our partnership with the chamber. We look to expand that as we update our TIFA plan. Last year, we worked with the chamber on their fall scarecrow contest, which business owners and residents decorated the light poles with different scarecrows, and a huge success. Also this spring, we're partnering with them to bring a marketing expert in and do kind of a 3-night seminar for all of our local businesses here, and just kind of always looking to expand that. I'd also just like to thank Mark and Steve. Truly, their comments on having the Planning and Economic Development Department work more closely with residents, they stand behind those, because we've gotten a lot of help from Jeff and John Paul, Jerry, on a lot of projects and plans that we need to update. They've been a tremendous help for us. So, thank you.
John, thank you very much. We're going to move on to Lennox Township. Supervisor Ron Trombley. Ron, all yours.
Good morning, everyone. Boy, years went by fast, and last year I think I started out by dispelling some myths about out here everybody milks cows and we're all related, and I want to tell you, I checked on our population, and the majority of us are related in our area. Got some other new statistics that I'd like to share. Our crime is down, but ducks and chickens complaints are up. Jeff White has informed me that the goat bites are down, though, so that's one thing we've been improving on and working on. It's a great area, I tell you. The people that we get to work with on a daily basis, I'd like to acknowledge our business, which is the core of our community, too. Waste management, the things that they provide for our community and help out with. Myers, just unbelievable. McLaren Group, Sue, get to talk to you quite a bit. It's just a blessing for our community that what you brought to us. So we thank you for that. I'd like to give you a quick overview. One good positive note, house values. They're soaring. They're coming back strong, moving quickly. I will tell you there's been a few bumps in the roads with some of the new ordinances that are in place, foreclosure ordinances. People buying homes, they're not aware sometimes that the banks have owned these homes, and now there could be C of O issues or inspections that weren't complete. So that is definitely something that you'd like to check out with your local municipalities to make sure that's covered, that somebody's moving into a safe structure when they do that. Tax assessments. We're right online. I tell you, we got on the ball a couple years ago when things really dropped, and we went out and we reassessed, and I think we're right in line now, and I think with the CPI going up, everything's going to start moving back up to gain us more revenue for the services that we have to provide. So that's very good news. Roads and ditches. I've only received one death threat on the gravel roads this year, and I tried calming the individual down, and then I finally said, Mom, as soon as the frost comes out of the road, we're going to reevaluate them and get on it. This is a big problem. It's weather related. We are doing our best. We've put plans in place where we can actually monitor our limestone programs, and thanks to the county, a lot of people don't know, we get 3 miles a year at 10% cost. The county picks up 90% of that cost to help us maintain these gravel roads, which is huge for our areas. And There's a lot of ground to cover, but we're monitoring them, and now also, too, with the help of Bob Hopner, we're going to start monitoring the ditching in the area, too, where, as you see some of these areas, the water lays on the side of the roads, are not cut properly. Well, we're gonna start taking a look at that, too, and monitor that to improve the conditions of our roads and our highways. EMS. We have a shared EMS with Richmond Township that we're very proud with, and I'd just like to take one moment. We have our director, Jeff White, who does a fantastic job. I can't tell you how valuable he is, but he just reached a milestone in his career of 25 years running our EMS, and I can't tell you how many people he's helped and saved in our community. So thank you. Thank you, Jeff. You're much appreciated on a daily basis. Great working with you. Food pantry, another thing we're very proud of. We feed over 700 families a month in combination with New Haven. Ray Township helps out. Charlie Bohm, thank you. There's still people in need. It's not over. We've overcome some great obstacles the last few years, but there's still people in need. Please keep an eye out in our communities, in your communities too. Let us know if you see something that we can help with. A lot of people are too proud when they need help. And it's not about being proud, it's about helping each other. So if we can pitch in and do that and help somebody out, it's great. Myers also, this next 2 days, for every $10, they kick in another $20 on food cards for our pantry. So if you give 10, we get 30. And our funds that we received have been cut in more than half for food. So if you ever get a chance, check out our food pantry in New Haven. It's like a little grocery store, and the people are very good when they use it. They don't take what they don't need. They only use what they need to get by. So we're very proud of that and thankful. I'd like to recognize our school districts, the 4 of them, Anchor Bay, Armada, Richmond, New Haven. I think they're doing a fantastic job marketing our area now, trying to bring new families into our areas for growth. Just wonderful. Future developments. We're redoing our building department, getting ready for development. We're next in line, hopefully. We have our sewer and water in place, and I think with new technology, BSNA, our inspectors going to a tablet form where they can do everything on site, on the go, on the run, because in business, time is money. We all know that. We don't want to be held up a day, a week if we don't have to. Challenge us. I will tell the business community, challenge us to help you. I'm very thankful that the elected officials I have here are great to work with, and I can tell you their intent is to do the best they can for business in this community, in this county, and it goes regional with St. Clair County also. I'm going to mirror the comments of our planning department. Whenever I've called, they've been there. Whatever you need, however we can help. Fantastic organization. So challenge us to help you help your businesses. We realize that check just doesn't show up on Friday. You have to go out there and get it and make it happen. So please do that. Some of our future developments coming, once again, we're still working on the big agricultural business coming. Mark's been working very hard with me on that. Steve Casson, the Mucci Group, could be a $50 million agricultural development for Lennox Township. I've been in constant contact. That's still going forward. We're very pleased to have this opportunity, and I hope soon it'll come to light. We're also looking at new McDonald's, possibly a new medical facility by McLaren. Locally, our park, we're looking at redoing our walk path, which gets a lot of use, and possibly a splash pad due to a grant that we've put in play. So hopefully increase the quality of living in our community. New Haven, I'd like to comment, which falls within the boundaries of our community. We have a very strategic partnership with New Haven. Our community is very diverse, and we have a lot to offer. The president over there, Jamie Kincaid, has been great to work with, as well as their board. I look forward to continuing that relationship, and we're only going to get stronger the more we work together. One big issue we had this year, and this is one thing I think everybody's aware with, we were faced with a monumental issue of a new landfill coming into our community. And I have to tell you, there was a lot of emotion involved, a lot of action by multiple parties. I would like to tell you, Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle, myself, planning, Waste Management, who it would have affected greatly in our community. Everybody sat down, really took their time, and figured this issue out on how it would affect our community. They took their time, they worked hard, they didn't do anything in haste. It was sound judgment, and I can tell you that we've protected our community from another landfill that would have had a very adverse effect on our community. So I want to applaud their efforts in thanking them in accomplishing that for us, and we look forward to just moving on with better and more productive developments that are not attached to a stigmatism in our community. Once again, the political people that stood up in this room, I can't thank you enough for the working relationship I have with you. Please feel free to contact me anytime, as well as the business people here. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy and safe upcoming Easter. Thank you very much.
Well, all right, moving right along then. I want to recognize a longtime friend of mine, and of course, I've got Cindy Grenier here from Richmond Township. Cindy, the podium's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. Along with Ron and John, I want to thank the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce for inviting us all to speak, even though it puts terror in my heart to be standing in front of all of you. Last year, I was ill-prepared when I came. I thought we were just going to, give a couple of, 30 seconds or something, and I walked in and I saw all these people sitting here, and I was like, oh my God. So this year, when Keith asked me, I pulled my minutes from our board meetings last year and looked over my supervisor updates. And what I decided to do was, since last year I was not very prepared, I'm just kind of start in by giving you a little more info about our township and tell you the things we did. We don't have a lot of big things going on, but the little things we've done I think have been good for our township. Our township is the northeasternmost township in Macomb County. We are bordered to the south by Lennox Township, the west Armada Township, the north Riley Township, and the east by Columbus Township. We have 37.3 square miles, and our population is 3,665 people. Of the 37.3 square miles, about 73% of that is active farmland. And while researching this, I was looking just to see what size our farms were, because I don't know that offhand, and I noticed in the Ray Township Master Plan, they had a rundown of all of the farms in Macomb County, and there are only 5 farms in Macomb County that are over 1,000 acres, and all of those are in Richmond Township, which I thought was really cool. That's neat, because that is who we are. We are definitely a farming community. We are considered a general law township, and our board consists of 2 trustees, a clerk, a treasurer, and a supervisor. We have about 30 years' experience on the board between the 5 of us. So we're still pretty new, and we're moving things along. 30 years is not really all that much when there's 5 of us. Our first trustee, Mr. Coleman, is a farmer. He has been a farmer his whole life. His pulse on the community is invaluable. For what we do and who we are, he has a very good read, and he does get out there and speak to other people in that community to let us know their ideas on where we should go with items that we're looking at doing. Our second trustee is Mr. Voss. He is here today. He works for the Road Commission. He has also proved to be very invaluable. He is the youngest member of our board, brings a lot of good ideas, a lot of good energy, has direct contact with the county. He's a member of the Northeastern Macomb Cable Commission, and we actually had Keith and the president and treasurer out there the other evening at our board meeting to go over some new ideas of maybe how Richmond Township can actually use the cable in a better way, to be more productive. Mr. Zalka is our treasurer. He's not here today. He works for the probate court in Macomb County and is always willing to share his thoughts and ideas on policies that we follow, and is good to share all of his information. Mrs. LaFontaine, Kathy, is our township clerk. And for anybody that's ever worked in a general law township, you know that, the clerk does a lot of the hands-on work. If you've got to have a really good clerk to keep your township moving, because they do a lot. Kathy has brought our accounting, up to standard. She's been working with our auditor and brought some new and innovative ideas to it. And Kathy has also taken the lead on researching some large expenses that we have and cutting our costs on a lot. She's done an awful lot of good work. Last year, when Enbridge was going to come through the township, I believe everyone where Enbridge was coming through received the opportunity to apply for some grant funding. The small townships were allotted $15,000, and we applied for 2 issues. One of them was for some equipment to be used by our EMS on the Macomb Orchard Trail. That seems to be the really only true recreational place that we have in the township right now, and we are talking hopefully about being able to join that in the near future, about buying into that. I think that would be something we'd like to do. The second thing we did with the money was we applied for a recreation master plan. They're going to start work on that in May, and that's kind of exciting because we don't have a recreation department at all. So we're looking very much forward to doing that. A couple of little things we did this year that we found important was we actually adopted a spending threshold, which probably doesn't mean a lot to those of you that maybe are not involved in municipal government, but it had been something that we always knew we could spend so much money before we had to go out to bid, but we never had it in writing. So we adopted that this year. We adopted an agricultural compliance form, which means when you live out in the country and people come in and they want to build a barn on some acreage without a house there, we're just basically asking them to say, I'm just going to farm this property. I'm not going to put another business in. And those are 2 forms that I think were really good ideas, and they helped us move forward. Also this year, pardon me, the township made their final payment on the township hall. So it's 15 years old, and now we own it free and clear, and that's pretty exciting for us because that was a pretty big chunk of change for us. We also took our block grant funding this year and put it toward the payoff of Station 3, our EMS Station 3, and that was very exciting. Hopefully that will be paid off sooner than we know. We took our Senior Citizen Center, which, pardon me, is the little white building in front that the township used to be in, and we used to rent that out for parties, but we decided that we would discontinue that. We didn't have a lot of parties there, and it seemed to be by the time we had to get it all set up and get everything over there, it was more cumbersome than what it was worth, so we ended that, which was not great for everybody, but I think overall for the township it was probably a smart move. We then took the northern part of that building and we put storage in there. After being in our building for 15 years, it was getting pretty full, so we took a lot of our older records that we're required to keep and we moved them over to that building, and that has worked really well. That's freed us up, a lot of room in there. We also, with our building and grounds, we did seal coat our senior citizens parking lot. That was also done with the help of block grant funding, and it looks great, and they did a very good job, and Jeff was very instrumental in that. I think, was it John that mentioned they updated their website? We also updated our website this year. Kathy went to Lansing, I think she met with IT Right, and they gave us some new ideas, and our website is much more user-friendly. To that, we added BS&A tax program and assessing. Now people can go online and they can get that information whether we're open or not. That has really been a big help, cut down on the calls by a lot. Another small service we added was to get notaries public. I know that may sound silly to you, but I'm surprised at how many people would come into our office and say, is there a notary here? So we added a couple of those. The township board decided that they would purchase laptops to do their board meetings on. This took us a little while to get used to. We purchased those, and we had our first meeting using those in November. Gotten the kinks out, and they're moving along pretty good now, and hopefully we will save some paper because I am a paper killer, much like a former supervisor that was at our township. One item that we're working on right now is the township in the 80s purchased some property, 80 acres. They call it the Stone 80. And we are considering having that entered into the Purchase of Development Rights program. That's something that's very exciting for our township, being such a
heavily agriculturally based township, that would mean a great deal to us to have that put into that program, so that could never be developed. The township has talked to the state, and hopefully within the next budget year, we're going to start to make that move. We decided at our meeting Wednesday night that we are going to, however, hold an open meeting to all the farm community in the township on June 11th at 7 o'clock, and we will publicize that so that they can come and tell us if they think this is a good idea or not a good idea. Finally, at the end of my small amount of information last year, I mentioned that I thought it would be good to move forward and start working with other communities. Mr. Moore mentioned something about his cemetery. In August, our board decided to ask the city if they would like to get their own cemetery in their boundaries, in the city boundaries. Currently, it's in Richmond Township, but we felt they should have it, and Mr. Moore has been working with their attorney, and so hopefully that will be another job that will get done this year, and I'm looking forward to that. And finally, the last item with working with the city, we have also asked them to help us with our zoning enforcement, and we did budget that in our 14-15 budget. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy, very much. All right, moving right along here then, I want to call upon Casco Township Supervisor Bill Rumenap. Bill, all yours.
Good morning. My name is Bill Rumenap. I'm the supervisor in Casco. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the sponsors for hosting the breakfast. Things are, I'm a little laid back on my presentation because everybody does, although it may be interesting and they did a great job, every community has the same thing, basically, Try to make the residents the best you can for the residents with the money you have on hand. Excuse me. I have a business card that I give out as being supervisor. It has in the corner, it has a big sun on it and a rooster in the corner. And next to that, it says Sunny Casco Township, just to get a rise out of people, but it is. Things are pretty good in Casco. I can't complain. We live in a great area. I think everybody up here agrees with that. We have good people in Casco, and we have good neighbors. Times aren't the best right now, but they're certainly not the worst. And one advantage of being old, which I'm getting there, is you remember the good times and the bad times. And there's always cycles, and you can go back as far as you want. There's times where, everybody's hurting. Some of the people are hurting now. Our prayers go out to them, and we try and coordinate St. Clair County and other. They have the food pantry over by Marine City, and they deliver meals on wheels, and you try and help the people you can. But for the most part, things are going pretty good. We share some services. Everybody up here gets along. If I call anybody and first I harass them, then I ask them for a favor, and they always cooperate. When I saw all the notes John had, I thought, boy, this is going to be a long day here. I don't know. And I'm not much of a joke teller, but when Ron was up here, I was going to say that I told his mom that if he doesn't fix the road, she's certainly welcome to move to Casco. We're right across the road. So, we're like every other community. You get X amount of dollars. You try and maximize the use you can get out of them. Our goal in Casco is to keep a rural atmosphere and try and elevate the quality of life. So the incentive for people to come to Casco is that's the way they want to live. If they wanted to live in a city, I'm sure they'd pick Richmond. If they want to live in the country, we hope they come to Casco. We don't have a lot of utility services like sewer and water. So right now our industrial and commercial development is minimal, but it'll be coming in time. And as everybody else, we hope the state comes up with a little more money for us, but they do the best they can, and we hope the county kicks in a few perks here. That'd be a good thing, since our commissioner's here. And, that's pretty much it. I could tell you about the things we do, but it might bore me, so I certainly don't want to bore you. So, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I know Mr. Christie's going to wrap it up with some tall tales of Columbus Township. And thank you for your time.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. And yes, now we're going to move to Columbus Township Supervisor Bruce Christie. Bruce, all yours.
My fellow Americans, I'm proud and humbled to accept your nomination for President of the United States. Oh, I'm sorry, it's wrong teleprompter. Luckily, I brought a backup. I'm Bruce Christie, Supervisor of Columbus. We're your neighbor to the north, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me to come and speak again. I don't know where I can go after listening to all these guys. Only thing that ever happened in our township was somebody's cow got loose. But another year has come and gone, and it went so quickly that it got me to thinking, what did we accomplish? Did we accomplish anything? Because I'm a goal-oriented type of person, and I tend to focus on the issue at hand, and then as soon as that's done, I forget about it, and I go on and do something else. And then as time goes by, I broke it down into little issues, and I always think, well, we haven't got anything done. But I had a chance to sit down and think about it. And, well, I realized we did accomplish some things I'd like to talk about a little bit. Last year, we put out for bids on the Township Hall on the roof, and we ended up getting a new steel roof put on that should last probably 40 years or so. So nobody will have to worry about that for a while. We got a section of our cemetery cleaned out and ready for use, and you know, it had trees and bramble and trash and stuff, and they even came up with an old foundation, which would have been bad if somebody was digging there. And then there's another section of our cemetery that we want to prep for cremation and such that is coming up, that we're going to be doing that. We got all our computers on a network, and we got them on a server, where before everybody was independent and nobody was sharing information, and it was making things harder. So things have streamlined a lot in that area. We've also got a new secure mailbox and a secure overnight drop box so that people can feel safe that when they drop off their taxes or any other important papers that they're actually going to get to the other end where they belong. You know, we got a new phone system. Before, somebody would take a phone call and they say, I'll tell them, and they might tell them. And, well, now we have a system where there's extensions for everybody, and there's answering machines for everybody, so you can get right to the right person you want to get to, and you can leave that message, and the right person will get back with you. We've been working on organization of things. We've been updating our fee schedules, getting our files sorted out, setting up the computer files and such like that. We got a time clock, so now we can timestamp stuff when it comes in so it gets dealt with in a quicker manner, and the people that work there can keep track of their hours so there's no squabble about I didn't show up till 9:15 or whatever. And we purchased the Apex sketching system for the assessing department, and now they're in the process of reassessing all the properties in the township and then sketching them as we go. And already at this year's Board of Review, it has helped immensely when you can bring out that sketch and say, oh, it is this big. And so we've also had some personnel challenges this year. We've had to replace our planner and our building inspector and our ordinance officer. We've also got a new assessor and one trustee. a lot of thought has gone into the selection of each and every one of those, and we just, we try to do the right thing, and we try to make a good selection. Only time's going to tell if that works out or not, but we think we've made some good choices there. We've had a brutal winter this year. Probably none of you guys know about that, but in Columbus it was bad. Probably the worst winter since like 78 or 79 that I can remember. But I want to commend our road commission because they kept our roads in very good shape, I thought, for the amount of snow. I mean, it got to where there was almost no place to put snow, but they kept things going. And then with some of the ditching and road work we had done last year, that during the thaw, it went really well. I mean, the roads are pretty passable for this time of year. I would have expected a lot worse. We're looking to build on that this year and pick out some more areas and get some more ditching done and trees removed out of the ditch line, because if we can keep things flowing toward the creek, that's the plan. We have a couple of jobs planned for this year. On Gratiot Road from County Line all the way up to Palms, they're going to resurface the road this spring. And then on Palms Road between Big Hand and Gratiot, they're going to finish taking care of that. So that'll be done all the way down to Fredmore. Last year I brought up about ITC, the power company that was planning on coming through and doing a loop project. They've been through Columbus pretty much. They're still working on it, but they've come a long way on that, and there's parts of that are already up and running, and they're sending wind power to the grid. And we expect they'll be through our township pretty early this year. Enbridge, meanwhile, has been snaking through Columbus, destroying everything in their path. Honestly, it's been really nice that the people whose yards that they've been cutting through and that, they're putting a 36-inch pipeline in right next to one they already had there. And the people are taking it pretty well. I mean, there's been very little complaints, and most people are okay with it. Well, there's probably 100 other things that I've forgotten about what's going on, because meetings and appointments and workshops and classes and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could make this part-time job a full-time job by all the stuff going on. And lastly, last year I was asked what was the hardest thing about this job, and at the time, being a businessman all my life, I said that it was working with other people, because in business, I always just made a decision and did it. And that having to work with 4 other people and get an agreement, it just seemed weird concept to me. But I've learned that it's easier. Really, it's easier to float that idea and let everybody hash it out, and then come up with a consensus and vote on it. And it's really taken a lot of weight off my shoulders, and I've grown into the job better, and I like it, and the board has been really supportive of me and my ideas. And now I've found a new idea of what is my worst thing that I have to do, and that would be what we do about blight. And with that, I'll bid you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce, very, very much. Now, as residents of St. Clair and Macomb counties, aren't we really blessed with such an dedicated, articulate group of public servants that we're represented by? Let's give them a round of applause. Right. Yvonne, Jill, do we have a few moments maybe to take a couple of other things? All right. We have a good number of, let me get this out of here. good number of other very important public servants that every day are out there working on our behalf. And I know that a few of them have indicated to me that they might wanted to make a couple of quick remarks. Senator Phil Pavlov, where are you, Phil? There you are. Okay, I'm going to give you the microphone here. I know that you asked if you could just say a couple of moments of what you have going on in your constituency.
Well, thank you, Your Honor, and welcome everybody. I'm not going to get in the way of getting to your work day this morning on this Friday, but I just wanted to say hello and thank the elected officials that showed up today. It's always interesting to see how you're dealing with the impact of Michigan's economy. And I will just tell you, at the state level, we are very close to balancing our fourth budget on time. And the news is very good this year for Michigan. We are working with nearly a $1 billion budget surplus, and so that means a lot to local communities. And I can't sit at a table with local elected officials without the question of EVIP funding and revenue sharing. Just know that as you guys have worked to get your budgets in line, we have been taking a responsible look at the state level as well. Our rainy day fund is near $600 million today, and it was just a couple years ago that that number was $2 million. So many of the townships probably had a larger fund balance than the state of Michigan did. So we're working with you. We appreciate the partnerships, and I look forward to building relationships with the folks of northern Macomb County. Thank you.
Phil, thank you very much. I know that my longtime friend, Commissioner Don Brown here, wanted to say a couple of things. Don, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for the Chamber for hosting these events. I mean, it's good that not only we're here to see it, but also that, you know, cable and other people can see what's going on in their local governments. And I appreciate they give me the time to take 20 minutes to talk about things that are going on in northern Macomb County. No? Oh, no, okay. Anyway, listen, there are a lot of good things going on in Macomb County. With County Executive Hackle as our partner, we're doing a lot of good things in Macomb County, and it's exciting. And Macomb County is well positioned financially. We're in stable shape, and we're looking forward and planning for the future. There are many good things happening in the north end of Macomb County. We've replaced several bridges out here in the north end of the county, and that's important to the agriculture community, which is an important economic engine to Macomb County. And you know, sometimes people overlook it in the south end, but they're definitely our major driver of Macomb's economy and part of what makes our county so successful. Macomb Orchard Trail was mentioned earlier. That's an economic engine. That's a great recreational tool, exercise tool, but the local communities along the way realize the economic benefits that can come from being a part of that and being close to it, and are now working to market that trail as part of a business plan for the community. And the communities are along there. I'm glad to hear that Richmond Township's considering participating and as fully as a member, as well as Armada Township is also considering that. So that's a good thing, and that's a positive sign. Don't want to go on too much longer, but thank you very much, Dennis, and thanks for all of you, and good to see all the partners here. I mean, only thing we get done in government, we can't do it by ourselves in silos. In the old days, every county did, every department, every county, every township did their own things. Now, with the economic depression we went through a few years ago, money's come tight, and the local governments don't have the money they had before. But now we have to force us to work together, and that's drove us to be more creative. And how can we partner? The joint dispatch center that the county's built, giving opportunities for local governments to partner with counties and other communities in the county to save their local taxpayers money. Taxpayers don't care who's providing the service as long as they're getting it. And local governments partnering together to try to save us money is a good step in the right direction, and I pledge to work with all of you collectively to continue to make our community prosper. Thank you.
Don, thank you very much. I'll just make the quick comment that the 42nd District Court physically lies in Don's County Commissioner District, and he is such a strong supporter of law enforcement and the court, and Don, I appreciate that very much. I know that, there you are. Kathy, how are you this morning? I know Commissioner Kathy Vosberg asked to say a couple of comments.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you to the Chamber and all the regional partners here, which leads me to what I want to talk about, and that is our regional relationship. On July 1, I will be the chair of SEMCOG, Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. And thank you. And through that role, I really want to make each of the local units of government more aware of the benefits of belonging to SEMCOG and more of the services available to them, even as businesses, as you partner with your local communities. So please get in touch with me for more ways that you can maximize the membership in SEMCOG. Thank you.
Kathy, thank you so very much. Thank you. We have such a good group of public officials here. Were there any of our other elected or appointed officials that wanted to just say a few things this morning at our breakfast? I think we've got a few extra minutes. Anyone? How about questions for either our panel or any of the other officials that we've got here? Do we have some questions from our business community? Right back there. Okay, I'm going to run you the microphone back. There you go.
Good morning. My name is Rand Hewitt from Senior Helpers, and I'm going to pose this probably to Mark or the Senator. I know a lot of good things happen here in Michigan and in and around the Metro Detroit area, but jobs are important, but more importantly, I think easily solved are what's happening about the roads here in Michigan. Is anything going to happen this year, or will we not see much?
Bill, did you want to make a couple of comments on that first?
Well, roads are on everybody's mind right now as the spring thaw is coming up. Let me tell you where Michigan and the state legislature has prioritized our budget surplus. It was just last year, right before we balanced our budget. We had approximately $800 million worth of surplus taxpayer dollars. We prioritized that as saying $400 million will go toward roads, and about $400 million will go to our K-12 education system. That money hit the streets on April 1st through the Public Act 51 formula. Very small amount, but that money was designed to take care of our local road commissions and our cities who had enormous overtime this year because of the winter, the potholes, the diesel fuel, and all the work to be able to keep our roads clear during the winter. But the structural problem still exists, and there's a proposal in the House now to change around some of the funding formula to try to get halfway there. But it's on everybody's mind right now, and I'll tell you this, the legislature is deliberating very aggressively on that, so that's where we're at today.
Mark, do you want the microphone there and make a few comments on the road issue?
This may take an hour. This has been, without question, the biggest concern from the people of the public, and no matter where you go. There isn't anywhere I can go that somebody isn't talking about the problems with our roads here in Michigan. And I'm not just talking about Macomb County. It is a sad reality. When we talk about Michigan, we love living here because we love the 4 seasons. But yet you hear people joke about the 5th season, and it's pothole season. We joke about it, we laugh about it, but it's not funny. I mean, you think about Pure Michigan and the branding efforts that we've got, it is without question one of the best branding initiatives anywhere in the entire country when it comes to a state. But the counterproductivity of the issues dealing with our roads, which is the first thing people see, it sends a mixed message. And you're going to damage your brand if you have a mixed message. These roads need to be fixed. The $400 million, $500 million one-time shot, that's nice. It's going to be helpful. It'll help deal with potholes. But that can't be the new normal. There has to be a better solution. There has to be $1.5 billion to $2 billion a year annually of new money to figure out how do we fix these roads. This is what we're about. We put America, we put the entire world on wheels, but yet we have some of the worst roads than anywhere in the entire country. It's unacceptable. We have to come up with a funding solution, and it's not the fault of your Department of Roads. It's not the fault of MDOT. It's not the fault of DPWs. The legislatures have to address this issue. It is a funding issue that the Department of Roads, MDOT, and your county roads departments will gladly fix roads. But if they're only going to get funding to fill potholes, they'll do that too. This winter, and somebody said it, and I give them credit for saying it, but the reality is your Department of Roads, your MDOT people, as well as your public works people that were out there clearing roads this winter, I mean, what an incredible job they did. I had to sit and watch it all winter long. In the middle of the night, listening to them getting their call-outs and going out there. They were plowing, salting, and patching. Plowing, salting, and patching. They did a marvelous job, but people were complaining on a continuous basis I think I got that same death threat from his mother as well. It was awful. I mean, if you think about what was happening, they're getting out there, they just got through patching these holes, and the Department of Roads people will tell you, we feel bad because we're spending about $40,000 to $50,000 a day patching these roads, knowing full well that next snowfall that's coming in that's already on the radars from all the different news crews that are telling them, you're going to have another snowfall coming in. They know that stuff's going to be pulled right out of there. They're putting good money after bad. It is not the solution. It cannot be the solution to fill potholes. The solution has to be fix the roads. That's what we deserve. That's what the state has to move forward to. And I'm telling you, I know the governor's on board with this. I know the legislature's talking about it, but it has to get done. And again, this is something we deserve in this state. And it's not just an issue about giving a good image for the state. It's about public safety. And I think that's what you're referring to in an initial question of talking about our senior citizens. And I got to tell you, that's what I'm worried about, is the dangers of these roads. We cannot let this become the new normal, and let's get rid of that 5th season here in the state of Michigan and go back to the 4 seasons that we truly like to get out there and promote with Pure Michigan, our brand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I think maybe I've got a few moments for just a couple more questions. A few more questions. We've got some really good people up here to answer them. So any other questions from the floor? I see. Okay. Bringing you the microphone there.
Thank you, Judge. Ken DeCook, Macomb County Farm Bureau. Something we like to pass along to every community here. It's that time of season too, not pothole season, but farming season. And it's some way you can get to your residents and say, tractors and implements are going to be on the road. Please have patience with us. We try to advise our members to use caution and safety standards, but we can't get to the people in the cars that want to pass us right and left. So if there's some way of getting that out, we would appreciate it. On the county level, we got some farmers who like to work on their drains, their county roads, ditches, to do some better drainage. Mr. Hacko, is there a way we can cut through some red tape and talk with the road department and the public works on us helping to do that or doing things on our own? That'd be one benefit, because we know you're busy down at the south end, but on the northern end, we got the concerns on that part. And if there's some way we can help promote the ag industry here in Macomb, Department of Planning and Economic Development, Steve Casson and his staff are doing a great job, but maybe there might be a few other ways we could work together on promoting the ag industry and our farm markets and greenhouse industry.
Mark, I'll run you up the microphone. I'm getting my exercise this morning.
Good. I'll try to make this one shorter than roads. But the agricultural industry, without question, is an economic opportunity for the county, and our planning department had brought that to my attention when I first got into office. A number of things, whether it's defense, automotive, advanced manufacturing, our Blue Economy initiative that we're working on, but agriculture was one of the ones that was on the top of their list. And I think, Ken, you've already had a lot of interaction with our planning department to try to figure out how do we do a better job of recognizing that and also getting attention from the state level as well as at the federal level and working with you on some of those initiatives. We are marketing and branding Macomb County. This Make Macomb Your Home initiative. If you haven't gone to the website, you've got to check it out. And she was just here, and I don't know if she left or whatever. The lady was taking the photography. Does an incredible job of promoting the county through a visual perspective. Our Make Macomb Your Home website, we've already got over, I'm going to say 11,000 likes to this website. It's an incredible following that we've gotten. If you haven't signed up for it, please do, because it talks about the various things going on with the 27 municipalities in Macomb County. But I bring that up for this reason, because with that, we've also recognized if you have a product and it's a good product, the best way of getting your marketing out there is word of mouth. But we in Macomb County have never gotten to recognize the importance of marketing and branding who we are. And if you don't do that, other people will brand you. First, you got to understand what it is you're all about. Once you understand that brand, you need to get out there and try to market it. So we have been doing that, and specifically for the actual agricultural industry, you and I have done a couple programs, cable programs, as well as putting together a commercial for agriculture. But you're right, there's a lot more we can do. But again, unfortunately, sometimes that takes funding, and we're working with our planning department to try to figure out how do we work on a marketing team for the actual county through our planning department. And we're going to continue to do that, which I think will be a tremendous advantage to you in the agricultural industry, and in particular to the northern part of the county. As for your road issues, Bob Hoffner and our road department stands ready to have conversations with any road or drainage issue that you have a concern with that relates to Department of Roads. And I'm certain Tony Morocco from the Public Works Department will be more than happy to have conversations for anything that deals with other drainage issues that are not road related. So please give us a call and we'll be more than happy to work with you. Thank you.
All right, Yvonne and Jill tell me that I've got time to perhaps take one or two more quick questions. Anyone like to, for our distinguished panel here? See a hand over there.
I just would like to, I'm State Representative Ken Goyke, and just to shed a little bit more light, because the road funding is a key issue, and that's what's impacting everybody in the community. And if somebody, you know, I want to talk just a couple more minutes on this subject. You know, the $215 million that was appropriated on the supplementary was key specific because it affected all 83 counties in the state. So that was key. From the House, I proposed that we did lane miles as opposed to Public Act 51. Public Act 51 is very unfair to Wayne, Oakland, Macomb County. St. Clair County is basically a break-even county. So there's no big push to want to change the formula of Public Act 51. It's Macomb County roughly puts in about $350 million, and Bob Huffner's take for the whole county is about $50 million to work on it. There's lots of money being spent already on roads, or, you know, coming out of the gas, diesel, and registration money. I don't know anybody that wants to pay more. The key issue is getting the money appropriated in the right way. And there are a lot of fundamental problems. Drainage is so key. If you go to the central part of the state, the roads are in a lot better shape. If you're from the agricultural community, you know that drainage is very, very important. Southeast Michigan is basically a swamp. The seasonable high water table is less than 12 inches. A road is only as good as its base. So we're saddled with a lot of complications to that. The taxpayers are the ones that pay the money, and they don't want to pay any more money in taxes. And the key issue is appropriating that money in the proper way. And nobody wants to bring it up as another key issue is what's going to happen with Detroit. The state's looking at a heck of a lot of liability, quite possibly, on that front. And when that happens, that's more money that's going to be used for other things other than taking care of our infrastructure things. Infrastructure is the key issue for keeping our economic driver going across this state, and especially here in Southeast Michigan. So just on a high note, both in the Senate and in the House, we are very, very much looking forward to good proposals on getting back to getting the stuff that really counts, and that's you know, our infrastructure, and getting that fixed across the state. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ken. I'm told one more quick question. I see a hand back here.
I apologize if this is off limits, but I wonder if Mark Hackle could talk at all about the Detroit Water Authority, or if we maybe don't have time for that subject here at this time, but I'm sure we're all interested.
That one would be volumes and volumes, wouldn't it, Mark? But here, I'll give you a shot at it.
For those south of 31 Mile, you are absolutely not going to believe this, but I'm sitting here and my phone is buzzing, and all of a sudden I took a look real quick, and they're telling me that Frank Beckman is now going to be calling me in 5 minutes because I'm going to be on his show about this very issue. So very appropriately timed, actually. So not inappropriate. I'm actually standing here. I apologize waiting, because when he calls, I have to talk about this, because many of the people listening are within the area that are what I consider ratepayers. They're the people that are actually using Detroit Water Sewer. 40% of the people of the state of Michigan use Detroit Water Sewer. And we're having conversations about a regionalization of the water system with an emergency manager. The emergency manager's interest is trying to figure out how does he deal with bankruptcy and solve the city's bankruptcy issues and work with creditors. If this is truly going to be a regional water system, it's something that needs to be done with the actual mayor of the city of Detroit, the elected official by the people of the city of Detroit, the city council, the various county executives, like we have done with other regional initiatives, whether it's SMART, whether it's COBO, whether it's Detroit Regional Transit. All of these are regional initiatives that we sat down at the table and talked about, and it took a while to come to a consensus about a governance model and then a funding model. But to be pushed into a situation right now where we've got to hurry up and make a decision, which was, by the way, by March 1st, and sign on a dotted line, so that $47 million off the top of our bills as ratepayers goes to the city of Detroit to deal with a bankruptcy issue. My opinion, that's not trying to figure out how do we deal with the integrity of a water system. It's not how do we protect ratepayers. It's about solving a bankruptcy issue with Kevin Orr for his purpose of being here. No offense to Kevin Orr, I understand he's got a job, very respectable man, very intelligent guy. But his job isn't to try to figure out how do we come up with a regional water system that's going to help deal with that integrity and help protect ratepayers. Because if it was, $47 million wouldn't be coming off the top that has absolutely nothing to do with resolving issues with Detroit Water Sewer. So I have no interest in having further conversations because that's not the intent of Kevin Orr, but I will have conversations if the intent is with the city of Detroit, meaning their elected officials, like we've done with other regional initiatives, to resolve problems with Detroit Water Sewer and protect our ratepayers. So that, in a nutshell, is what I'm going to be talking to Frank Beckman about right now when he's calling. So I apologize. Thank you.
All right, Mark, you tell Frank Beckman that we all send our very, very best. Joe, I'm going to give this back to you.
Okay, I'll be really brief, I promise. I just want to thank everybody for coming this morning, and I think it was a very good dialogue. I do appreciate all of our elected officials. I do appreciate all of our sponsors, because without you, this event wouldn't happen. I just want to do a really quick plug. John Moore alluded to the fact that we are working with the city, and we will be bringing a marketing seminar to town. It'll be the first 3 Tuesdays in May, and it's open not just to the city of Richmond, but to other businesses. So I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that we have a large sampling of our area here to let you know that, and there's information up front. So thank you again for attending this morning, and I hope that it was beneficial for everybody, because I know it was for me. So thank you.